All right.
Okay, we're recording. Welcome to Papi and the Wildman podcast. How are you doing, Papi?
Good, good. I just made myself some dinner.
Dinner is delicioso. What do you have for dinner?
I made myself some burritos.
Oh, very, very cool. Yeah, for dinner I had chicken stir fry. It was delicious.
Oh, you got to love that.
So do you have any interesting topics to discuss? I know the topic of dinner isn't really too fascinating. So, let's go on to even more interesting topics. Gatorade Zero. Advertise Gatorade for the sake of it.
What flavor is that?
Grape Gatorade Zero.
Oh, very nice. That became one of my favorite ones.
Right. I know Papi gets me the Gatorade Zero. He gets me 7 weekly. He brings them over on Saturday, and I have one a night. It's kind of like my little treat. I take it with my medication, and I have my Gatorade Zero and my medication and vitamins, and it's kind of my nightly treat. And then around 8 o'clock, I have my San Pellegrino Orange, which is a little bit like a soda.
Oh, nice.
So that's like my little nighttime drink, enjoyment.
And the now that it's hot, the Gatorade puts the electrolytes back into your system.
Right. I was outside walking a good portion of the day. I mean, during coronavirus, obviously, there's not a whole lot to do. So that's what I do. I walk around the neighborhood, and I was getting pretty hot, getting a little dehydrated. So the Gatorade's definitely hydrating me. Sometimes when you're really thirsty and you're like really parched and you start to drink something, it's like really, beautiful, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I find it that the Gatorade quenches your thirst, or quenches my thirst.
I notice you're in the
That's a good one.
I notice you're in the New Day T-shirt. The New Day Professional Wrestling. Or is that what you're wearing?
Oh, yes, I am.
You're very cool. For those of you who don't know, that's Big E, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston. They're a professional wrestling tag team, WWE. I know the Shield, gets a lot of the praise in wrestling, but the New Day, you can make an argument they're one of the best trios of all time, couldn't you? Obviously they're not as high profile, but Kofi Kingston's a champion. They're multi-tag team champions. I think the New Day is very underrated. They're a lot of fun.
Yes, and didn't they hold the tag team title for the longest time period?
I'm not 100% sure, but that sounds like something that could be very much true. So I think Xavier Woods is very entertaining. He's a lot of fun. Maybe not a great in-ring worker. Big E's a big guy, really muscular, very dominant. Kofi Kingston's a good in-ring technician. They're just a really good trio. They're going to go down in the history books as being one of the best, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And even Kofi won the heavyweight championship.
Yeah, he was the heavyweight champion for a while he was in the New Day stable. Exactly.
Yeah, he was still with the stable. Exactly.
He was the underdog story.
Say that again?
He was the underdog story, like overcoming adversity, winning the big championship, crowning achievement, at WrestleMania.
And he wasn't even supposed to be in the consideration for the championship, but it was injuries to somebody else that caused him to get his chance, right?
Was it Mustafa Ali that became injured? I think it was better off that it was Kofi Kingston anyway, because it was like he was with the company for so many years, and it was just like
Yeah, it's kind of like he gained the what am I trying to say? He gained the title. I mean, he earned it. That's what I guess I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. I think Kofi Kingston earned it. And then he lose to Brock Lesnar in like 30 seconds. So it was kind of like disrespectful to him to throw it on Brock Lesnar at the end. They should have at least had him in a more competitive match, but
yeah, it should have been at least 60.
At least 60 seconds, exactly. But what are you going to do? They wanted to put a title on Lesnar. And Lesnar, overrated or underrated?
Under. I think he's and not because of his abilities or such, but I think a lot of people don't really give him the credit he deserves. And you look at his stats and his record, and it's been amazing since day one that when he came into the wrestling with Heyman.
Right. There's no question Lester is going to go down as one of the, biggest names of all time. And, I mean, obviously he's a part-timer, so that he gets a lot of a bad stigma because of that. But
right.
But I mean, he put over Drew McIntyre as a complete badass. I mean, Drew McIntyre shines like $1 million, and you have to think, Brock Lesnar is responsible for that.
Oh yeah, a big part of it. Correct.
I mean, taking nothing away from Drew McIntyre. I mean, he's got the look, he's got the intensity, he's got the in-ring skills. I mean, he's like the total package. But Brock Lesnar really made him shine brightly.
But I feel so bad for Drew McIntyre. I mean, here's his shining time, and even at the WrestleMania, it was his time, it was his day, and with the whole pandemic, I mean, he never really had the fans to cheer for him. He never had the opportunity to have, the people in the audience back him, and I feel horrible for him. I hope they don't take the title away, or I hope he doesn't lose the title before the crowds start coming back into the arenas.
I think Drew McIntyre, they've realized what they have with him. He's shining brightly. He's one of the best things in the WWE at the moment. So, but, I think it's like a blessing and a curse because it's going to be a WrestleMania that's remembered. So I think people are going to, watch this WrestleMania in hindsight because it's such a unique sort of environment surrounding it. So even though he didn't win it in front of a crowd, I think, what are you going to select? Like WrestleMania 32 that's, in front of a crowd that you've seen, you know what I mean? Or are you going to select the one that's special? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like I said, here's my fear. He would have, I mean, can we assume that the next WrestleMania will have crowds?
Can we assume? I mean, if coronavirus pandemic passes, it seems like coronavirus is passing. Hopefully things go back to normal and the next WrestleMania has crowds. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yes, but like the hockey is going to be starting up in about a month or so, but they're not going to play to crowds. And NASCAR is running their races, and they don't have any crowds in the arena. So, it may be a while before they start allowing the crowds in. I mean, because you don't want the pandemic to start up again.
Right.
So
maybe next year we'll have no. I hope it has crowds, but we'll see. I mean, obviously, you want to better safe than sorry.
Yeah, and I hope he keeps the belt for over a year, and he has the opportunity to share it with the crowd.
Yeah, I hope he has a long and entertaining reign. Like I said, he's shining like $1 million. He's shining like gold. I think McIntyre is really the real deal. It's just a shame.
$1 million?
$1 billion.
$1 billion?
He's got the intensity. He's got the ring skills. He's got it. I like McIntyre.
Yes, he's really flowered one. I mean, he's really put the act together again.
And do you know who else I like? Sheamus. Cesaro.
But wait, before we lose the thought on Drew, wouldn't it be nice to have the 3-man band come back together for a one-shot deal?
I think Jinder Mahal is actually, if he's not returned from injury already, he's on the process of returning, and maybe they will have him feud with McIntyre. I think Heath Slater's all but done though.
Yeah, but for a one-night stand, put the band back together.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that's. Yeah. I mean, just. But I think they want to disassociate McIntyre from that, and Jinder Mahal too. I mean, he's a former champion.
To the audience, explain what we're talking about.
When Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal were lesser-known talents, they had this absurd gimmick where they would play like air guitar, and it was kind of like they were like.
It was air sitar.
That was Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal played the air sitar, and it was kind of they were a joke group. They weren't like the New Day or the Shield. And now they're really credible. I mean, they were kids at the time, but now they're like credible, mature men, main event worthy, and they've really turned their careers around. They came back really muscular, and they've turned their act around.
Which is good to see too.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about Sheamus and Cesaro. I think they brought back Cesaro's James Bond gimmick, and it seems like they're reuniting the Bar, which is Cesaro and Sheamus's tag team. That's pretty cool because I like both of those guys.
Now, you think they're going to put the tag team back together?
It seems like they're teasing friendship, so they very well may.
Oh, I hope so. That was always a really good tag team.
I love Sheamus and Cesaro, absolutely.
And you know what? It's like both of them together. It's like synergy, where 1 + 1 = 3. I mean, individually they tend to forget about them at times, but when you put them together, like especially with the Bar, and that was their tag team.
That's what they do. Like they do that, like the thumb. Yeah.
There's nothing better than that. I mean that was just classic.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to make this comparison because they're nothing like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, but they kind of reminded me of the Outsiders, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, like the modern version of them. Would you say that's a fair comparison?
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of
they have some similarities.
Roots. Yep.
I mean, Cesaro and Sheamus could be one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Would you say?
Oh yeah, one of mine as well.
Yeah. And who else is a highlight? Braun Strowman, I think, the monster is. He's like a modern day Big Show. Do you like Braun Strowman?
Yeah, I like his routine.
Braun Strowman's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about All Elite Wrestling.
Wait. Before we do that, we've got to talk about the Monday Night Messiah.
Seth Rollins. To be honest with you, I'm not really a fan of The Shield. I don't really like Roman Reigns. I don't really like Seth Rollins. I don't even like Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose. Never been a big fan of The Shield. I think they're all very overrated.
See, I like them. And I think the current routine with the Monday Night Messiah is a good one.
I guess. I know I have another family member who really likes Seth Rollins, and I just don't see it. I think they tried to shove him down our throat, especially his first heel run with the championship, never buying into it. I thought like Wade Barrett, Sheamus were much better champions. They had the credibility, like the presence. And I never bought into Seth Rollins. I just don't feel. I don't know. But there are a lot of people that like him. I mean, this might just be my opinion,
And that's why wrestling is diverse, because you're not meant, or you're not going to like everybody, but there's always somebody there that you can find an affinity with.
Right, and as far as women's wrestling goes, I'm a big fan of Asuka and Kairi Sane. I think they're very talented. The Japanese women tag team, if you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think Asuka and Kairi Sane are very good. Could be the highlight.
Now they came from NXT, right?
Yeah, I mean they're originally from Japan. Asuka's really one of my favorites for sure.
What about AEW?
Speaking of All Elite Wrestling, I think they have broken Matt Hardy in All Elite Wrestling, but it's not the same. I remember when he was in TNA Impact, I kind of felt like he kind of had creative freedom to do whatever he wanted, and he was the show. Nothing else mattered. You know what I mean? But do you think they're just waiting for his brother Jeff to come? I think in TNA Impact, people tuned into TNA Impact to see the Broken Hardys, and they could do whatever they wanted. When he went over to WWE, it was like commercial. It was commercial. Woke and Matt Hardy. It was kind of like it was corporate Matt Hardy. It was just really boring, like stale. And then it's not the same. Maybe Jeremy Borash was responsible for writing the gimmick, and he's with WWE. Maybe it was kind of, I don't know, but it definitely lost a lot of the momentum. It lost a lot of the steam, and it's not quite the same, unfortunately.
Yeah, it seems like they try to put a bow on it somehow, and they they tied their hands in regards to what they could or couldn't do.
For a minute there, he was the hottest act in wrestling. I mean, definitely. And it was a good gimmick, but maybe it was the chemistry with his brother Nero, and the funny segments like going from indie promotion to indie promotion, tag team Apocalypto, and and maybe it was Jeremy Borash's input. Maybe it was just like a special team, and they kind of lost it.
And what about the gardener?
Oh, Senor Benjamin.
Senor Benjamin.
That's his father-in-law, by the way, I think.
Oh, come on. He was great.
He was great. I like how they made him a little sketchy, and Matt Hardy was oblivious to it. He's like, "Oh, Senor Benjamin," but Matt Hardy was oblivious to the fact that he was a little sketchy, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, that's what made it great.
That's what made it funny. What do you think of Cody Rhodes? I don't like that he's just going by Cody. Is he able to go by Cody Rhodes now, or?
I think he won a court battle of some type, right? Recently, or maybe the trademark ran out.
I don't know, but he should be going by the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. He shouldn't be going by just Cody. I don't know. That kind of irritates me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And Dustin Rhodes is I mean, I don't know. Is he in his 40s? And he's putting on some great matches. His brother. And
but I think with getting back to Cody for a second, I think it's kind of his way of sticking it to probably the WWE by saying, "Hey, even though I can change my name back to Cody Rhodes, you know what? I don't need to."
Right.
And I made my bones just by being known as Cody, and I'm going to continue to just keep that name.
Still, with the spitefulness, I'd say just go back to Cody Rhodes. I think he should. That's just my personal opinion. Obviously, Cody Rhodes is in charge of the promotion. Who am I to say? But that's just my personal opinion. Who else is doing good in Cody Rhodes? I know Lance Archer is pretty cool. Who else? I know they have Brody Lee, who is formerly Luke Harper in WWE. Who else do they have?
Jericho, of course.
Oh, Chris Jericho. And what was the name of his club? The Inner Circle. The Inner Circle, I think, is what he's called. Jericho's an all-time great. Probably, I mean, you can make the argument he's one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time. Definitely one of the best mic workers.
Dean Ambrose, too.
John Moxley, Dean Ambrose, yeah. Okay.
So they've got a lot of good things going for him.
So do you think Chris Jericho's debut promo with The Rock is one of the best of all time?
Yeah, I do.
I think that is probably the best debut of all time. I mean, I remember that. He interrupts him with the Millennium Clock. And, not many people can debut against The Rock in his prime and just, like go toe-to-toe with him on the mic. It was really cool.
And it was good when he sold Juventud. During the promotion.
Yes. So during one of the promos, Rock says, "Do you think you impressed The Rock? Because you beat somebody by the name of Juventud?" And Jericho saying, "I took his mask. I took his mask." So like Jericho, like Rock
and
has
Rock
no
went off on him. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter who's Juventud.
Yeah. So I think and most of the times when somebody's premiering, they're kind of still an unknown, or at least in years past, a lot of the wrestlers are unknown. So when Jericho came in, he did have the following from coming over from the league. Right. And I mean, he interrupted The Rock, and I mean, what a better stage. I mean, you can't have a better debut than that.
No, that was an iconic debut. I'm trying to think of, does anybody else have a more iconic debut than that? I mean, maybe not on that level, maybe not like more iconic than that, but does anybody have a debut on that level?
I'm going to say no.
I'm trying to think. I'm off the top of my head, I'm thinking Goldberg's. But that wasn't on the same level. I mean, when he debuted, he speared The Rock. That was pretty. Brock Lesnar's re-debut. Brock Lesnar's first debut when he came out and he was dominant, but nobody knew who he was. You know what I mean? Nobody knew who Brock Lesnar was, but he made an impact. And then his re-debut with John Cena after WrestleMania in 2012, that was pretty big too. I mean, it was shocking. So.
And Cena's debut too. I mean, nobody really knew who he was.
He came out in channel. Most people thought Cena was not going to amount to much. People didn't really, but he proved everybody wrong. I mean, speaking of people who had it, he had the mic skills. I mean, he's very green in ring, but Cena kept persevering. He kept working hard, and he's one of the biggest of all time.
Without a doubt. Perseverance.
You prove everybody wrong. You just keep working hard and show everybody how wrong they are. And who would you say? Somebody who said the top 3 wrestlers of all time. I would say Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You see, my wrestling following dates back longer than that, and I would have to put the iconic Bruno Sammartino on that list. But if you say, in the quote-unquote modern day of wrestling, which is probably the start, that starts with Hulk Hogan. I would say Hulk Hogan. Oh my.
Stone Cold Steve Austin for sure, and The Rock. That's who I would say.
Yeah,
obviously,
I was 3.
Obviously, you could say Triple H, John Cena.
What about The Undertaker?
Undertaker was a good performer. He's one of the best of all time, but he was never top guy, if you know what I mean. He was always. He reminds me more of like a Shawn Michaels, where he was kind of a very important person to wrestling, but he was never quite, Rock, or never quite Stone Cold, never quite Hulk Hogan, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. You got a point. What about Hello Ladies?
Val Venus, very underrated, very good mic worker, very good in-ring worker. He got packaged with a weird gimmick, which was a blessing and a curse, because maybe he wouldn't have been around as long as he was if he didn't have that gimmick, but maybe he would have amounted to something bigger if he didn't have that gimmick. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, he was very talented, and it could have been maybe it was a blessing, maybe it was a curse. I don't know.
Very true. Very true.
Right, because there are a lot of people who have talent that never amount to much, and there are a lot of people who,
Let me ask you this question: who are the top 5 performers today?
Top 5 performers today. That's a very good question. Drew McIntyre, I would say. You got to say Cody Rhodes.
No, I'm talking about WWE.
Drew McIntyre.
Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
Cena.
Is Cena even around anymore? He's more of a part-timer. I haven't seen him. I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't been following the product as much. I haven't seen Cena in quite some time. So,
yeah, it's hard to choose a top 5, and especially with the 3-way brand split too. Now, it's tough to compare the wrestlers and to pick who the top wrestlers are.
I know,
and plus they've also done a lot with the female wrestlers, so they take half the time of the shows as well now.
Right, they're definitely featured in comparison to years past. They're definitely featuring the women in much bigger roles, and there are some standout talents, as I said, like Asuka, Kairi Sane, Charlotte Flair. I find Charlotte Flair a little bland, to be honest with you. I know she has the lineage, but I don't think she has the charisma. But she's a very talented in-ring worker. I mean, everybody likes Becky Lynch. They think she has charisma. What do you think? Like, who are some of your favorite standout female wrestlers?
I think you mentioned them. I think you mentioned the top ones. I mean, right. I can't really add any more to that list.
Right. Speaking of NXT, I mean, I like Tommaso Ciampa. I like Johnny Gargano. A lot of people say Johnny Gargano is undersized, and they're making him a heel and like kind of like a badass heel. And I think he's works better in like the lovable guy next door underdog role. Because unfortunately, if you're 5'8" and skinny, I mean, if you're beating guys that are 6'6", it's just not believable. You know what I mean? But
but there's plenty of wrestlers out there that you can match him against, like Nakamura.
Shinsuke Nakamura, I like Nakamura, but I think he was great in NXT. Then when they moved him to the main roster, I don't know. Whatever happened to Nakamura was really disappointing.
But that goes with Gargano and Ciampa too. You know, they brought them up for a short period of time, and they did absolutely nothing with them, and then they shipped them back to NXT.
Maybe some guys are just better in NXT. Maybe they should put Nakamura back in NXT. That might be a better place for him. And who's another person? Bobby Roode is another person who was great in NXT, and then all of a sudden they put him to the main roster, and I don't know. So maybe they should put Bobby Roode back in NXT too.
The Demon?
Finn Balor, yeah, they put him. They put him on the main roster. He wasn't doing too much. They put him in NXT. He's shining brightly. So sometimes some people work better on a smaller stage. You know what I mean?
Yep. So true. So true.
AJ Styles, I think he's probably one of the best, technical in-ring talents in terms of in-ring work at the moment. At least he was. I don't know. I haven't seen some of his matches recently, but it seemed like no matter who he was wrestling, except Nakamura, he could put on a good match. Which is weird because like his match with Nakamura in Japan a lot of people say it was one of the best matches of all time, but the match at WrestleMania was very disappointing. So it's like, I can't believe Nakamura versus AJ Styles 2 was so disappointing, but it was. I don't know why.
Yeah, don't know.
Sometimes people just you get them on an off night. They just don't have the have the synergy. They don't have the connection. Not everybody brings their A game all the time.
But it seems like WWE also doesn't properly vet their talent. Case in point, the Bullet Club came back over, and they kind of really did nothing with them.
Okay, so he's speaking of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, and for some reason, I think AJ Styles was a bit advocate for them signing them, and for some reason, they never wanted to push Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I don't know why. They just never wanted to do anything with them. You can just sense the guys they want to do something with, and those were two guys they didn't want to do anything with. I don't know why. That's
true, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Those two, and along with Styles, they were megastars in Japan, correct?
Right. The Bullet Club was big in Japan. And, sometimes sometimes WWE kind of has their own agenda. They don't care what you did elsewhere. Case in point, Matt Hardy, too. They don't care what happened in Impact. Maybe they'll use ideas, but WWE is all that matters to them. And,
That's true, too.
And I know, going back to 2002, you remember the NWO. In 1997, it was really cutting edge, innovative. They were spray painting the title. It was like there was a hostile takeover of WCW. It was edgy. It was like, oh my God, is this real? Jumping from WWF to WCW. And then when it comes over to WWF in 2002, it was like corporate NWO. It was like it was kind of like it was like NWO with the shareholders behind them and Vince McMahon.
Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing.
It's like it lost what the NWO was, You thought you thought they were these badasses that didn't care about authority, didn't care about anything. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden they're in NWO. It just lost what the whole meaning of the group.
Oh yeah.
Although it produced Hulk Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18, which was one of the greatest crowd reactions to a match of all time. That was just iconic.
Yeah, fun times with the wrestling.
Do you remember Hulk Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18?
Oh, sure. Toronto, right?
That was in Toronto. Oh, my God, the crowd was reacting positively to Hulk Hogan. That was just chilling how great of a crowd reaction that was. That was epic.
Oh yeah, they were behind Hogan in a big way.
And
Hey,
Rock,
we were too when we were watching it.
right? And Rock could sense the crowd was turning against him, and you got to give Rock credit. He's like, I'm gonna turn heel just for this match, and it's just such a memorable match. And I think Jericho versus Triple H was actually the main event, and it was like, what a letdown. I mean, nothing against Jericho and Triple H. They're obviously two of the greats of all time. But after Rock versus Hulk Hogan, it was like the show. Everybody was spent.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
It just positioned incorrectly. That should have went on last.
That is true. All right, Andy Ann.
Okay, I guess this is a wrestling podcast. Maybe we could do another one soon.
Yes, we can.
Later.
Everybody, stay safe and pleasant dreams, everyone.
Later.